What up, everybody? Welcome to Master the NEC Live. My name is Paul Abernathy, your host, and welcome to the show. We are live here from McKinney, Texas, and it has been over about a year since we've done any live shows. So again, thanks everybody for joining me here at Master the NEC Live. Welcome to the show, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a good series. It's going to be on Thursday evenings, like tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to cover a lot of topics as we go through this new series. Now, this series is going to cover things like electrical industry news, product spotlight. We're going to have resources, so I'm going to make available to you different resources that might be available on the internet or that you could use. And hello from Ohio. Thanks for joining me. We're going to have a quick review of CMECP Corner. And then, of course, in upcoming episodes, we are going to have special guests that can join us on the show. And again, we're going to have portions of the show where you can call in if you'd like to be on the show. So again, as we develop that out further on, but we're excited to get back in the saddle and bring another live show to the industry. I did it for many years, and we took about a year off, and so we're back. So I'm excited about it. Be able to bring a whole bunch of information. And remember, these shows are always available for you to be able to send in topics to the show. Now, if you're wanting to know how you do that, where you can send in your topics that you'd like me to talk about on the show, and it's pretty simple right there, paul.abernathy@fasttracksystem.com. If you want to be a special guest on the show, or you know anybody that you think would make a special guest appearance that would really bring some value, maybe you're in the PV industry, maybe you're in the EV industry, maybe you represent a manufacturer of a product and you want to be on the show in an upcoming episode, just reach out to us and let us know at paul.abernathy@fasttracksystem.com, and we're more than happy to try to get you on an upcoming show. Okay. All right. We got a bunch of people joining us. I just want to give a shout out to folks. Let's see here. Let's see. There you go. Alicia. I guess that's Alicia from Ohio. Thanks for joining us. Who we got here coming? We've got Schwartzy, as always. Schwartzy's a rock. He's at everything we do. Okay, so thanks for joining me, Schwartzy. Appreciate you. What do we got? Who else we got in here? We've got, all right, you got to forgive me for the names. You see your name on the screen from San Antonio, down a little south from where I'm at in northern Texas. Absolutely. Hugh Lee says, are we live? Most certainly I am live. Absolutely. Let's see here. What do we got here? We've got T. Pollard 3, good evening. Thanks for joining me. Glad you could make it. And there you go. Good evening. What do we got here? We got Papa Duck from South Carolina. Papa Duck, thank you for joining us. Glad you could make it. Let's see, Hoy Lee, is that right? Did I say it right? All right. Yes, it is live. Live from McKinney, Texas. About 30 miles northeast of downtown Dallas. Let's see who else we got here. Fort Worth, dude, right down. DG's right on down in Fort Worth. Y'all got some ice down there still? We had a little bit of an ice storm here in the last couple of days. So, we don't usually get that up here in Texas, but maybe once a year we'll get the ice. If you remember last year, I believe it was that all of the Windmills. Yeah, remember all the windmills shut down and everybody was giving us a hard time about it. Was it last year? Might have been last year or the year before. I don't know. But anyway, we learned that you have to put antifreeze in those things because they will freeze up. So Texas, we like to say we're independent, right? But, again, we still have, I think we have like 3 grids here in Texas. And so we could be independent. But again, it still is, infrastructure still is weak here. All you got to do is ride out in the country and see all these poles leaning, and we call them leaning row, and ice gets on them, and next thing you know, we don't have power. So what do we got here? Oh, Hellhole Houston. Come on now. Ain't nothing wrong with Houston, is it? Not that bad. Okay. Anyway, hey, everybody that joins us, thanks for joining us for this first episode of Master the NEC Live. As the series grows, I think you're going to see that we're going to bring a lot of good value. We're going to have a segment where I'm going to do a little code lesson. Okay, so that's going to be coming up in the future. So this is kind of our inaugural show for Master the NEC. All right, so we're going to have some topics tonight. I want to talk about some industry news. We're going to do a product spotlight tonight. We're going to look at some online resources that we're making available to you. So again, make you aware of those. We're going to do a CMEC corner, kind of give you an update on the CMECP program for those out there interested, and all a little few things in between there as we kind of grow this out. Okay, so thanks for joining me. My name is Paul Abernathy. If you don't know who I am, I have been in the electrical industry for over 33 years as a master electrician. Started prior to that at about the age of 15 with my brother. Both of us went through Charlottesville Albemarle Vocational School. He was a little bit ahead of me. And I saw how much he loved the program that I just knew. I was a rebellious teen anyway. I knew that that's something I wanted to do. So I joined it, went to the vocational school, and then got out of school, worked with my brother, and put in quite a few years at our company together called AA Electric. Then I went on to own my own company called Electrical Service Specialists, and then went on from there to do consulting and worked for Eaton Cutler Hammer. I was Eaton's guy that created their ECCN program. I was their educator that went around the country teaching that program when it first started. I did it with a guy named Andrew Smolsky. I don't believe he's not with Eaton anymore, but he moved quickly up the ranks to a VP, and then he shifted over to pneumatics. So that's how I started. I ended up also working for the city of Richmond, Virginia as their engineer one, and oversaw inspections and the electrical engineering department and plan review. So I would make critical decisions when it came to inspections and design and planning. And then I left and went to Northern Virginia. If you're not familiar with it, I went to Alexandria, Virginia, which is just right outside of DC. It's kind of out in the suburbs. We call it a concrete city because, again, it's a small place, but it's just loaded with buildings and population and all. And so I was ahead of their one of 3 of the managers that oversaw inspections. Okay, so that's focused on electrical, but again, oversaw others as well, other things like fire alarm and whatnot. So I have a background in that. And then I ended up, for those that don't know, I ended up at NEMA, the National Electrical Manufacturers Association, a great association to work for. And that's where I got to know a lot of manufacturers and got to be that Southern representative who would go around the country attending IAEI meetings, other different meetings, and would do educational offerings. And of course, we were kind of that go-to person when it came to code adoptions throughout the state, throughout the states. And it was, I think it was about 11 or 12, I can't even remember, states that I was responsible for. And Texas happened to be one of them. And so while I was at NEMA, I formed a relationship with Encore Wire Corporation. And the next thing you know, a couple of years later, I'm asked to come out and solve some issues for Encore. We formed a relationship, and guess what? Since then, it's been kind of history. Since 2014, I've been out here with Encore Wire Corporation. And along that journey, I started my corporation, which was under a corporation under electrical service specialist back in Virginia. When I came to Texas, I decided to take that corporation and move it out here as well, and started Electrical Code Academy Incorporated here in Texas. And we've been here in Texas since 2016 now, as far as the corporation goes. So we are incorporated here in Texas. And I do it at the blessing of Encore Wire, because, again, you got to know how to separate your time. When you're on the clock for Encore, you're on the clock for Encore. When you're off the clock, I'm on the clock for Electrical Code Academy. And I have great people here at the Academy that help keep everything running for me when I'm doing all these little things, or I'm traveling around the country teaching or doing something. I have good people behind me, Brittany, Darlene, Zach, Jeff, people that help me in the background. Okay. So that's kind of the history of me. If you didn't know who I was, I do serve on NFPA's Code Making Panel 5, and I serve on Code Panel 17. Now, obviously, Code Panel 5 is my favorite, deals with Article 250, also deals with Article 200. But Code Panel 17 deals with 422, 424, appliances, heating cables, deals with 680, 682, which is, pools, spas, and hot tubs, natural bodies, and artificially made bodies of water. All of those things in between there. So it gives me a good rounding of code knowledge, because not only do we work with things like appliances in 422, but then I get to work with pools and spas and all that kind of stuff. And then I go down and I have to formulate things in Article 250 for grounding and bonding. So it's kind of a good scope for me through the years. So I've been blessed to be a part of that. And I love sitting on the code panels. It's a lot of work. And all those folks that are on those code panels put in a lot of time. They don't get paid for it. Yes, your companies pay us, but it's still time away from family. And it means that you have to be dedicated. And when it's a code cycle time, we're in it deep. And believe it or not, we are out of 2023 is already out of September of last year. And in another 8 or 9 months, guess what? We're going to be starting on 2026. I know what you're thinking, but again, we are simply at the mercy of people that submit public inputs and public comments and all that kind of stuff. And we have to be there. It's every 3 years. So it's a joy to be a part of that. And the NFPA folks do a great job of that. Maros, welcome. Let's see here. Let's get you up here on the screen. Maros Vasquez, howdy, howdy. Thanks for joining me. Glad you could join me for the show. Let's see here. Let's see who else we got here. Just kind of as you come in, love to give you a shout out. How you go? Good to see you live finally. Greetings from South Carolina. Great to have you here. And I guess that's what, Nefo? Po? You know you. I know you're here. I appreciate you coming. So what do we got here? Rudy 23 has got a question regarding the programs. Paul, whenever you get a chance. Sure, we'll get into that a little bit later. Maybe I'll talk about it when we get to resources, but always ask your question. Go on and type it in, and I'll select it and put it on the screen and answer your questions if you got a specific question. Again, all of you folks can do that. If you got something you want to type in and share for everybody, just type it in, and I'm more than happy to share it as we get moving forward, okay? Oh, Plano, Texas, right down the road. You got to get with me. We got to have some coffee one day. Holler at me. We'll meet you up here in McKinney. We'll go have some coffee, something like that. All right. Let's get into the first topic for tonight on this show. And again, you got any questions, just type them and we will get them into the show. All right, first thing I want to talk about is some industry news. There was an article that just recently came out that was talking about possible shortage of electricians in the industry. Even though it appears that this COVID thing is moving on, it's still out there. We know it's out there, but the industry's trying to bounce back. And it's no surprise that when you go to buy a reel of cable or boxes, or even try to find panel boards with main breakers, and it's tough. And sometimes you're not finding them on the shelf. And it's just a a tough thing right now to have product, let alone worry about whether or not we're going to have enough skilled electricians to actually be able to do the work, right? That is one of the things that we have to make sure that we address. And so there was an article that came out in Electrical Contractor magazine, okay? And so I want to be able to share that with you, and we'll discuss this because I'm going to tell you, if anybody hasn't been following me over on Instagram, I've been posting some pictures from search hounds, or no, trade hounds, I guess is what it's called. And it always, I like to teach the industry. I like to learn myself, but I like to share things, not to demean them or belittle anybody. I mean, some people take it wrong. But what I'm trying to do is educate through example. And when I see an illustration or something that gets posted, I feel like I have to, if it's something that you can learn from it, then I want to share it. And sometimes I may give a little commentary to it. But again, it's all to teach you. That's my whole goal in this industry, is to try to teach you. But anyway, we've been sharing some of these videos. So if you're not subscribed over to me on Instagram, go check it out. It's just Master the NEC. That's pretty much what I have on all of my platforms. So go check it out. We're sharing this new series called 2023 NEC Snips and Tips. And again, I'll have many more of those. So make sure you go check that out, okay, over at our Instagram. Now, if you're also a member of our Facebook pages, then it will also be shared there as well. So you'll get to see it. Okay, except for the electrical forum, which I don't post in anymore. So it would be our Master the NEC page, right? Okay, so again, that type of thing. Now, all right, so let's talk about the industry woes. What are the problems? So I'm going to share an article with you. I'm going to read it, and we're going to share it, and I want you to kind of see what we're doing here with this article. So this article came out February 1st. It's electrician shortage is ongoing despite growing demand. Now, it said 20 years ago, the NECA predicted an electrician shortage. To be honest with you, most of us knew that was coming because, again, the demand for work and the fact that there was so many vocational schools are switching and pushing students to go to college. And college is not for everybody, okay? So if you think about the trade shortages, you just aren't having people push people into the trades and realize that they can learn a skill. Now, you can come out of college and be $30, $40, $50, $60,000 in debt and start out at the bottom of the ladder once you graduate. Maybe that's not for you. So maybe you start out and you go to a vocational school or an apprentice program or IBEW if you want to go to something that's unionized, or NECA or something like that. At least it allows you to get a trade, a skill. We have a serious shortage. Now, one of the things that I try to portray is for people to take this industry very seriously. I believe electricians, as I believe it was stated right here, again, struggling to find electrical inspectors, that is going to be always a problem as well. And, as Papa Duck says, electricians rule. There is no better trade, in my opinion, than being an electrician. But how do we get people to move towards that? Push our kids to say, learn a trade. Okay, you remember that old saying? You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. That's the same thing with the trade. If you teach somebody the trade, then they will always have something that they can fall back on, right? I don't like to think of as an electrician as a plan B, but there's a lot of people that have gone to school and get out of school and college, and they come out and they contact me about wanting to be an electrician. And I'm like, well, you could have had a 4-year head start on that, but you went to is this your plan B to become an electrician? I don't know, but let's go on and get to the article real quick because I kind of want to talk about this here. So NECA 20 years ago predicted it. I think we all probably predicted that. But it says 20 years ago, NECA predicted an electrician shortage. While demand for electricity escalates, the shortage of qualified electricians worsens. I agree 100%. In January 22, an article by Border States notes that the primary underlying cause of this shortage includes experienced electricians leaving the field, few people entering the field, and the lingering effects of COVID-19. The Associated General Contractors of America also predicted that electricians are among the hardest jobs to fill. You know, people have been talking about that for a long time again. It's a skilled trade. You just can't walk right into it and pick it up, and some people still struggle with it. And I've been telling people forever that you can't just be proficient with the hands, right? As with anything, you know what? You have got to be mental smart. So not only do you have to understand how to use your hands, you have to understand how to sort things out. You have to have the mental capacity to, one, know that it's code compliant, because it's got to be safe. And the National Electrical Code is a minimum safety standard. Again, people sometimes hate for me to say that, but it is. How do we establish a minimum safety standard? Well, if you do it by the NEC, then it is the minimally safest the structure can be. If you do anything less than that, it's considered unsafe. So when it comes to electrical. So can you go above the code? Absolutely. Just don't go so far above it that you complete this 180 and now you're actually creating a bigger problem. And that sometimes can happen with grounding and bonding. People go too far, okay? But shortages. Electricians, we are just, look around. Everybody's talking about they're not able to find enough of them to do the work, right? So NEC has been talking about it. Others have been talking about it, right? So according to the Pew Research Center, early retirement of electricians increased in 2020 and 2021, spurred in part by COVID-19. That's probably absolutely true. A lot of folks, we had a problem with you couldn't get material, then you had lead times, and then people were late, having to stay home. And electricians, they got to be working. They have to be out. And when projects are shut down, again, if you're at a certain age, then some people just, hang up the tools and they retire, or they move on to something else. Maybe they had a side hustle and they shift to the side hustle. Now, while slowly we're getting out of the COVID-19 and people are starting to come back to work, the Bureau of Labor Statistics predicted more workers in 2023 than in 2020. So it is going to have a resurgence. Hopefully, there is going to be more growth. And we're already seeing that now. I can tell you right now, give you an example. Encore Wire has set records that we have never seen. It was during COVID and right after COVID. People are getting back to work. They're getting out there. But what does that mean for our electrical trade? That means that we need more people than we can produce. And so when I post something, for example, and I jump on somebody because they're goofing around on a job site or doing something, we got to live, right? We got to live. We got to enjoy life. We only go around this rock one time. But when it comes to the trade, I like to promote take it as serious as possible, right? The reason for that is because if you're going to have a shortage of people, to me, it also creates a standout moment for those that rise above the norm, those that can excel. Because when the people that are hiring or the people that are putting you in a control position, leadership position, they start looking around, it's slim pickings. But if you are walking the talk, dressing the dress, doing everything that you need to do, you're going to be the one they look at, right? Because they're going to be bringing in some of that green help, but they're going to need somebody like you to be able to lead them. And again, if you're sitting around the job site shooting wire nuts through PVC pipe, don't ask me how I know about that. But if you're doing any of that, because we all were young once, at the end of the day, if you're an electrician and you're a master, you need to carry yourself a little bit different as you move into this trade. And as it starts getting harder to fill those spots, because we're going to need more electricians. Okay. Now back to the article here. The fact remains that by 2030, though, what's going to happen is baby boomers are going to be reaching 65 and beyond, and that's going to cause a serious depletion in the workforce when it comes to electricians. They're going to start to drop out. And if we don't have more people now, okay, Gen Z, the millennials, if we don't have more of them going into the trade, then we're going to have problems. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am encouraged in some aspects of it. I am an equal opportunity educator. In other words, I don't care whether you're black, white, green, yellow, male, female, identify as a wire nut. I don't really care. I'm going to teach everybody. And so when I see videos out there of the women that are now coming into the industry, I love it. There's this girl, I don't know, I can't remember her name. I see her on Instagram. I think I see her on TikTok from time to time. She is flat at it. And, my brother first shared her with me, and I watched her and I was like, yeah, that girl's going places. She is doing well on social media, but you can tell by her mannerisms that she means business. That's what sticks out. Now, back when I was an inspector or oversaw inspectors back in Virginia, there was a female contractor who liked to do things different. She would use colors that you wouldn't even know. So everybody's used to black, red, blue, brown, orange, yellow, things like that. She didn't use those traditional colors. She used pinks and lavenders and teals and all this kind of stuff for her colors. And she's okay. The code permits you to do that. The only color coding requirements in the National Electrical Code, okay, is for your grounded neutral conductor. It is white or gray or any color other than green with 3 white or gray stripes. Okay. When it came to doing phase conductors, the only other color code requirement in the code is if you're going to use colors to identify a delta high leg, then it has to be orange. But nothing says you have to use colors. So you could identify it with labels, markers, identifiers. Doesn't have to be orange for the delta high leg. But if you're going to use colors, then it has to be orange. Well, she would do the orange, but her color palette made her stand out, right? And she got it. She never would go goof around. And you know what? She excelled, and all the inspectors knew who she was. All the educators knew who she was. All the other electrical contractors knew who she was. And she used to put her name on everything. Now, lawyers, people will say that lawyers like that because they know how to find you. I don't have any problem with a lawyer as long as I'm following the code and I'm doing it right. Then I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder. I really don't. And she didn't have to worry about that type of thing. Okay. So the point is, we have to step up and have the next generation. Hopefully you're listening, you're part of that millennial generation. Maybe you're the Gen Z population. So compounding this exodus is the lack of interest in skilled labor among the millennials and Gen Z population. They're just not interested in to be an electrician. And I'm not sure why, except for the fact that I know some millennials and Gen Zs, and they would rather be on the video games and out working with the hands. I would love to see them get out there more. The problem is vocational schools. They are not the same as they used to be. Now, I post a video up on one of my Instagram feeds of a video of a vocational school and the wiring, they're teaching the wiring, and it was really sloppy. And I was like, that's disappointing, because so many vocational schools probably have a limited budget. And the problem is with the limited budget, they can't have all the resources they want. So, here's a call out to electrical contractors. If you're in an area and have a vocational school like you would at a high school or something like that, think about donating something. Donating a box of nail-ons, Carlon nail-ons or something. Hey, Carlon, maybe you should create a program for that, or find a way to help out these vocational schools. If you're an electrical contractor and you know of a vocational school that is connected to a high school or something like that, and you're good at speaking or talking, hey, why don't you make a visit to it and talk to the school and try to talk to the people in the high schools and things like that about what kind of industry this is, and that you need to think about getting into this industry, and that you can do very well for yourself and you can move up, and the sky's the limit in this industry, because we are definitely going to be encountering a shortage. Okay. And it's coming. Now I'll be long gone by then, but again, it's coming. So more than 75% of the high school and college students want to work in technology, computers, internet, all that type of thing, and more likely to attend college and pursue a skilled labor job. That is so true. I will tell you though, college is not for everybody. When I did my schooling, university I went to, it was after I had already been a master electrician. I was already in the field, and I was lucky enough to have a wife that could support me while I was trying to run the business. Had other businesses going as well. We used to own boarding kennels as well for dogs. And she was doing all of this stuff to afford me the ability to also do the schoolwork when I needed to. And it was tough to juggle. And it did put a strain on the relationship early on. But she stuck by me. And I've been married for over 30 some years. So, behind every man is probably a stronger woman that can deal with it. And behind any female electrician out there, probably have a strong man back there to support you. And if you don't, you need to find one, because this industry can need to provide support. It can be tough as we go through these ebbs and flows of the industry, where buildings high and then things get down and there's layoffs, and you've got to be out there. And if you're doing the best work you can, right, then the chances are, if you're carrying yourself as a professional, you're going to be the last one that gets laid off, okay? Because you're going to be too valuable for the company. I can promise you the helper out there or the journeyman that's screwing off is going to be the first one to go when things start to get a little tight, okay? So again, I use the old analogy to people. I don't go in and have a foot surgeon perform a brain surgery. I'm looking for a specialist. To me, an electrician is a specialist, okay? So treat it as such. Take the pride, same type of pride. All right? So also here, the industry needs to do more than merely replace departing baby boomers, because electricity consumption is growing as technology focuses on vehicles, EV vehicles, devices, and buildings reliant on electric power. Electrician jobs are growing exponentially. That is so true. And now, you know what? Despite on how you may feel about the EV industry, or how you may feel about wind generation or solar PV and all that kind of stuff, it's not like the 70s where PV made a brief showing and then all of a sudden it just went away. PV is here to stay. Now, everybody knows my opinion on PV. Everybody knows my opinion on EV. I don't think they're sustainable as a main source. But I think that the best thing to do, I think the hybrid idea is the best of everything. Give me vehicles that can work on fossil fuel and hybrid. Allow it to be integrated like we have with the volts, for example, things like that. Then we cut consumption on fossil fuels. But at the end of the day, I don't think we can rely on all those alternative sources. So it's really does get a lot of hype out there. But what I can tell you is, regardless of that, there is opportunity for electricians in all of those as the technology emerges. So if you're an electrician out there and you don't understand PV, and maybe you don't do PV, how about you take a little time and learn a little bit about PV, right? Learn what's all about 690 and try to broaden your knowledge, because you never know. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. You could be sitting there, and because you have some extra training on something, a door might open for you. An opportunity might spring open, and you jump into it, and it might change your life. We don't have the ability to understand. We're not all Notre Dames here. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. I can promise you I'm doing today not what I really thought I would be doing 10 years ago, okay? I love to teach, and I don't put myself in a scale of teaching. I don't really judge how good I am or bad I am. I just do what I do. And there's a lot of great educators out there, probably way better than me, but you just got to do what you do. And so always continue to learn. Don't stop learning, okay? And pick the tough topics, not the softballs, the tough topics, right? All right. So anyway, let's look at some statistics here. But again, I don't want you to run away from technology. You might know electrical really well, but how well do you know EV vehicles in 625 of the NEC? So you have some extra learning that you can do to broaden your knowledge palette, and that's just going to make you more of somebody that the company's going to want to keep and to retain, that type of thing. Now, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics projects growth of electrician jobs by 9.1% from 2020 to 2023, okay? So we're going to need more. We're going to 9.1% more electricians during that 10-year growth period, which is higher than the 7.7 growth rate expected for all other occupancies. What does that tell you, folks? Because of the sector, right? This is what we're looking at right here. This right here, right there. 9.1% growth from 2020 to 2023 is projected. That's more than the 7.7% growth for all other occupancies. Why? Because electricians are needed. All the technology, all the advancements in PV, EV, okay? All those type of things, the infrastructure, the grid, all of that needs to expand and be taken care of. And it all trickles back down to the dwelling. It all trickles back down to the commercial buildings, industrial projects. Rounded electrician. Learn as much, get as much knowledge as you can, because it's going to all benefit you in the end. The more you can learn, the more you know, the more value you are to your company. That's for sure. All right. All right. So let's kind of wrap this up here for this. All the industries relying on electricians, construction could be hit the hardest by a shortage because it already employs the highest number of electricians, and its expected growth rate over the same period is 9.9% just for the electricians within the construction sector. Okay. So pandemic job projections based on 2019 data predicted there's needs to be 808,000 electricians by 2023. While the need for electrician continues, more recent estimates have dialed back that number to 795,700. All right. And so again, as the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, demand for key determinants is explaining future jobs. Okay. All right. What does that mean for us? So much opportunity for the electrician. I am hoping that the Gen Z, I am hoping that millennials out there will look at this and say, I have an opportunity. I'm going to tell you what, there is in a trade, being an electrician gives you so many opportunities, whether you just want to be a journeyman for a company, or you want to go be the master for a company, or you want to be the lead within a company, or you decide you want to branch out and maybe you just want to do service work. Doesn't take a lot to get into service work. I even have done a podcast on that, on what it takes to get started in that. And we'll probably have that in some upcoming episodes where I talk about those steps. Advertising can be cheap. Really, it doesn't have to be expensive. And there's a strategic way to do it if that's what you want to get into. If it's just a one-man show or one or two, then hey, the service work is great. But there is other opportunity for you to work for other companies and be lead people in the companies. You can have your own company, small, medium, large, commercial, industrial, residential. Maybe you just want to do sign electrician, those type of things. Maybe you want to do smart buildings. Maybe you just want to deal in things like smart devices in homes and that type of thing. So take it any way you want. Today, people are willing to hire you to do any of that stuff. So again, it's not just the construction trade alone that's going to be suffering. You're going to have people in that trade who are going to be able to branch out into other technologies, and the electricians are going to be at the forefront of that to be able to do that. Okay. Now, it also states that Rewiring America believes that the demand will increase, estimating that more than 1 billion machines will need to be installed or replaced in the near future. Again, electricians install equipment, electrical equipment at all ages. Okay. Now, one of the little things when I worked with NEMA that I used to talk about is that you will not hear a manufacturer talk about life expectancy. It's just something that we don't talk about. But everything has a life expectancy. So, you know, people are replacing breakers, people are replacing switches, receptacles, luminaires. It's constantly ever changing, and there needs to be the trade, and there needs to be electricians to do that, right? So again, all those things are going to constantly be changing, and a lot of equipment's going to have to be replaced, and we need electricians to be able to do that, okay? So to answer the looming shortage, recruitment at high school level, scholarships and vocational schools, apprenticeships, and skilled labor staffing agencies are a few of the tactics being incorporated to encourage the influx of new electricians. I am most certainly hope that that's what's happening, is that that's the answer, that we get more trade school awareness. Maybe the government needs to pump more money into the trade schools. Like I said, some of the pictures that I saw of them doing some work in a trade school, they didn't have boxes to do terminations in. They didn't even have boxes to put receptacles and switches in. It was rough. And I'm thinking, is it really that bad? Because you can use the wire and cut the ends off and use it again. You can reuse boxes. Okay, you can. There's things you can do to maximize it, and that's what we used to do at the vocational school I was in. We used to maximize things. Okay, all right. So anyway, there you go. So that's all we're going to talk about when it comes to that topic for today. So again, I think that's important for today's key topic, was trying to stay into the industry and try to grow the industry. So we're going to move on to a product spotlight next, but I want to catch up on some questions, things that have been shared here. Let's see here. If we've got some follow-ups, folks out there, I know you've been submitting some questions and stuff, so I want to make sure that I show here some of these. Let's see. Rudy says, went through the accelerated program a couple of years ago here in California, been out in the field and also working in the shop with parts inventory. What program would I suggest you sign up for? Well, if you're talking about our programs and the fast tracks programs, it depends. If you're already licensed, then I would look at the red or the green or the blue or the purple. You don't need the black. The black is exam prep. So if you're already licensed and you're not studying for a license, but maybe you want to hone your skills in a specific area, then for example, a lot of people will take what's called the Fast Tracks Red program, because that focuses on residential and it does a deep dive into residential. Maybe you want to get into commercial work. You want to learn what electrical codes are more associated with commercial. That would be the Fast Tracks Green. So for those that are trying to learn the code at a 30,000 foot view, then the black is perfect. But if you already have a license and you run deep dive, then go to one of our specialty courses, because they're designed to deep dive. That's what that's for. Okay. Hopefully that answers that question for you. Let's see here. What do we got here? Papa Duck says, you're very smart. I enjoy listening to your videos. Thank you for your help. I am just an electrician like everybody else. I do appreciate that. There are many people way smarter than me out there, that's for sure. But again, thank you for saying so, and thanks for listening to our videos and podcasts. What do we got here? Got a couple ones here. Almighty Huey says, I just signed up for the Fast Tracks Plus. Very happy to join the team. Welcome to the program. If you're in the Plus, make sure that you go to the electricalcodeacademy.net website, register an account so that we can make sure you get access to the Plus. Plus is the extra videos that you don't get in the normal Fast Tracks Black. So I want you to get those videos, okay? So make sure you go and sign up for that. And if you haven't been given access to it, email us and we'll give you that access to it. Let's see here. We got another topic, but I want to catch up on some folks. Y'all spend y'all's time coming here. I want to make sure I give you attention that you deserve here. It's nice. I'm an electrical inspector in Northeast Ohio and love my job. Absolutely wonderful. Great job. And inspection, that's another thing, folks. Inspections is now a viable, very enjoyable career. I was in inspections. I oversaw an inspections division. It's a career, and it's a wonderful career that you can go into, being an electrical inspector, that type of thing. Let's see, Schwartzy says he definitely loves what he does, but not always who I do it for. That is true. Sometimes we have to bite the lip and just do it and go through the motions and wait for better opportunities. But again, at the end of the day, Schwartzy is such a professional that, you know, you go through it, and remember, one thing to remember, if you're doing a job you're not happy at, but you're doing it because you got to feed the family, punch the clock, do the best you can while you're there. Don't slight anybody. They're still paying you a wage. Do the best you can, but remember, the moment that you clock out, it's all you. It's your time. And that's key, right? We can always suffer through something until something better comes along. And I used to, an old saying I used to tell people, never quit one job until you have another job lined up. It's what I always say to people. They don't always listen, but that's what I say, that type of thing. Let's see here. We got a bunch of questions here. Let's see here. All right, got a few questions. I got a couple more here, but I'm going to go real quick over into the next topic for today. And next topic is called Product Spotlight. This is going to be pretty quickly. This is going to be very self-serving. It's not my product, kinda, but I want to talk about it because, again, it's something that I invented for years. It sat around and nobody would do it. Finally, a company decided to put it out, and I want to talk about it. So let's look at it. Check it out. Now, you're probably going to say, what is he talking about? Well, there you go. This is the hybrid cable from Encore Wire. This is a patent, and I happen to be the patent holder. And let me tell you what. This type TC, ER, SER, what this is it's tray cable, but it's also SER cable. And the interesting thing about it, it's available in both copper and aluminum. And it meets all of the requirements for tray cable, but it also meets all the requirements for SER cable. And why is that important? Think about that for a second. Product Spotlight. By the way, I don't make a dime on it. I don't get anything for the patent or nothing like that, but I am still, love the concept of it as an electrician. You all know that you can't use SER in the ground, right? You can use tray cable in the ground if it's rated for direct burial, but then, of course, you also know that you can't take tray cable inside of a building unless it's in a raceway or in a cable tray. So it kind of defeats the purpose. So again, the beautiful thing about the hybrid cable is that it can be whatever you want it to be, depending on where it's at. So if I'm running it through the building and I'm going to a detached structure, if I'm running through the building, the dwelling, and I go out of the building and I run it, I can use it as SER cable until it gets into the ground. Now it's tray cable direct bury. When it comes out on the other side, guess what it is again? It is SER cable again. So it's a beautiful thing. So it's kind of like THHN/THWN-2. It can be used in different applications. Obviously, in a dry location or damp, it's THHN. In a wet location, it's THWN-2. It's kind of like a hybrid, a dual use PV cable. That might be PV wire, but then it's also RHH, but it's also RHW-2, which is also maybe USE-2. All the markings are on it. You get to use it for different usages, and you get to pick up the characteristics for whatever insulation type you're using, right? Well, that's what the hybrid cable does. It allows you to use this and be able to run it inside, but then transition outside, okay? And you can get all the benefits. Now, the other benefit of it is that the sheathing is thicker. So if you're pulling it like as an SER to apartments and things like that, you don't have to worry about gussets ripping up the jackets and all that kind of stuff because it is much more robust of a jacket, okay? So it meets all of the attributes, right? So it is available in aluminum as well. So you'll see here, this is aluminum as well. Again, all available Encore Wire. You can check it out. Contact your local Encore Wire representative if you're interested in this product. And I usually like to finish on the patent. And this is the patent right here. You can see the design and all the patent information about it. There you go. And just so you know, there's my name right there. In McKinney, Texas, I am the inventor of that product. And I don't make a dime on that, okay? So just so you know, and it's been around a while. It took a while for Encore to grab onto it, but it is a product, and I have 6 patents. This is the one I'm most proud of because you might be saying, dude, it's just a cable. It's the thought that I can take this cable and do it as inside of a building and then run it outside of a building, right? So that's the beautiful thing. So that's the product spotlight for tonight. In the future, we're going to have product spotlights from other manufacturers, other different products, And I think it'll be cool. If you know a manufacturer, you know a product you want to be featured on a spotlight, let me know. But being the first show, I wanted to make sure that I give some love to Encore Wire and talk about our hybrid cable. Okay. All right. That's enough for that. Now, next segment we're going to look at in this episode is we're going to talk about some resources. So if you're out there and you want some resources to get your code questions answered, all those type of things, I want to talk briefly about some various resources that you can use in the industry. Okay. So one of the best resources that we have available is the Sparky Hub. Now, whether you're there, if you've done it or not, or you've ever gone over to the Sparky Hub, I want you to check it out when you get an opportunity. It is, you simply go in here and register a free account right here. There's a register button up here at the top, or you can log in, and I'll go on and log in so you can kind of see. And you'll see you have all these topics, right? And you can post any question you want in any of these topics. Now, this topic up here is only for fast track students. So you won't see this unless you're a fast track student, but you got to make sure that you register. Okay. And once you register, then you'll get access to all of these forums. There's blogs in here. We even have some online training courses. I'll show you what they look like. Here, there's a bunch of different courses, leadership courses. There's electric vehicle technology. There is fundamentals of electric three-phase power transformers. There's AC motors, electrical fundamentals. These are all free programs that you can do here in partnership with Allison. Okay. Here's the circuit rules and Ohm's law series circuits, all those type of things. Tons of resources. This is free. Okay. It's available at the Sparky Hub. Okay. All right. So you want to get those resources, that is the place to go. Now, one other resource that we'll be bringing to the market is also going to be the Fast Tracks Tube. Now, Fast Tracks Tube is not available yet. You can still go there, but you can't do anything with it. And that Fast Tracks Tube is going to be our own unique look as if it was like a YouTube. And this is what it looks like. And when you're over here, you'll see the videos, and you'll have the, you can go and watch the videos. And here you see that you choose a plan. It's going to be annual subscription, or you can do a free membership. Some of the things on here will be free, but you'll see that there's going to be new videos in here. And here we have some on NFPA 72. Podcasts will be in here, and we'll have a bunch of other videos. But just to kind of give you an idea, I'll click this video right here. And so this is a video. And you just watch the video. It's very much like a YouTube-ish video. Okay. Hey everybody, Paul Abernathy here. I get a lot of questions lately about the difference between the fast. Now, what's unique here is you've got so many features. You can, darken it out and just show the video. That's pretty cool if you're watching the video and you want to black everything else out. There's so many other little features that you can do in here. Subscribe. You can give ratings down here. Okay, those type of things. We'll give 4 stars because that's a good video. All right. All these type of things that you can have here. You can even post comments and things like that. So that is called fasttrackstube.com. And that is coming. Now, another resource that I want to tell you about that everybody should know about is our free mobile app. Our mobile app that is available, and there is so many calculators on here, but I just want to show you the mobile app real quick. You get it, you download it from the website. It looks just like this. And you've got all these things down the side that you can scroll up and down. There is calculators in here. Fast Track student can get access to their Fast Track program from here. Oh man, you've got resources, you've got calculators, you've got videos, you've got the blog. You can get to the Fast Tracks Tube from here. You can get to chat, which is another feature that we offer. And you see here, it's called Fast Tracks Chat, right? So I'll show you what that looks like. And it's just because people ask about it. So this is our website, fasttracksystem.com. Up here, if you click on support and info, you'll see the chat room here. There's the Sparky Hub right here. If you click the chat room, I'll just click it and I'll log in. Agree. Here we see we got 3 comments here. Swartzy's been making some posts in here. There you go. And of course, if you got customer support, if you have anything, I'll come up here so you can see it there. So you've got that. If you want to go to the chat, you can post a chat here. Here's Swartzy right here. All right. And there, if you're a Fast Track student, you can get access to the Fast Tracks only forum. So this is just a chat for you to do like a chat room. And it even allows you to break out in your own private chats if you want. But that's just another resource that we're bringing to the industry. So it's called fasttrackschat.com. But again, you can always get to any of these from our website. Okay, so just go back to our website and easily can get to any of these things. Right, so that's just, I don't want to go too detailed on that. That's just kind of showing you some of the features that we have that are available to everybody. Okay, so and now if you get the app for your phone, where do you download the app? That's another question that people ask. Well, you can get the download for the app is right here. Where is it? Right there. Just go to www.necchat.com and you can get the download, right? Or guess what else you can do? You can go back to the website and I'll show you what that is. If you go back to the website, let me go home to the website and I'll show you where that is. So here you're back at the website. I'll bring it back up. Here's the website. Over here on the right, you'll see where it says mobile app. Okay, right here. See where it says mobile app right here? You click mobile app and you can scan it. If you're on your desktop, you can scan it with the barcode. Or if you go on your phone, you can just click this link in your phone browser and guess what? It'll download onto your phone. It'll ask you to accept it. Just accept it. All we're doing is making it local onto your phone and then it's going to allow you to get access to it. Right? So there you go. So this is just a bunch of resources. We're going to continue to add all types of resources as we grow. I think Schwartzy's over there posting in the forum as we speak. So anyway, so those are some resources. I will tell you that if you're in the field and you get our app, there is a little thing down here called resources, and I'm going to click it. And you see all these little yellow tabs. It's kind of hard to see in here. All of these are unique little calculators that you can use in the field, from voltage drop calculators to the 3-phase Z resistance calculator to motor calculations for conductor sizing, fuses, locked rotor, gosh, what else? Raceway fill, box fill, all conductor sizing. All of that's free on your phone. So maybe you just want the app to get the resources. That's fine. It's free. Just go download it right here. Where's it? Right here. Right there. And you can get it, or you can go to our website and get it if you want. So it's neat to have all those resources. All right. All right. So that's it for that part of it. All right. All right. So let's go next. I want to talk about CMECP Corner, the program, if you're not familiar with it. So CMECP is our program called the Certified Master Electrical Code Professional Program. It is only for master electricians, those that have achieved that level. Means you've already done the hands-on. You already, kind of shown that you've got the skills, right? You've got the talents, but now you're doing the mental game. And so that's what a CMECP is, showing leadership qualities, being able to finish a program in 6 months and be able to be tested on that. And then you go through a 100-question proctored review and you get tested on that, right? And then once you finish that, the big change to our program for 2023 is that there's no longer the 5-on-1 peer review at the end. It was voted on by the board of directors to take me out of that equation. And at first I was a little offended. I was like, really? I don't have any say in it, but they didn't want me involved in that part of it. So what you have now is a lesson. It's called a lessoned essay, right? And so the lessoned essay is that the CMECP candidate has to complete a 1,000-word essay on anything they want in the National Electrical Code. But it has to be at least 1,000 words. And when I wrote essay in school, it took about 3 hours to write a 1,000-word essay. So it's no little task. And you have to choose a subject in the NEC that's going to be able to do 1,000 words. Trust me. You're not going to go to 210.8 for GFCIs and pick one of the items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and be able to get 1,000 words. Now, how is this graded for the new program? Well, we still have the candidate review board. They are gracious enough to volunteer their time. And what they're going to do is they're going to be the ones that review these essays. And they're going to give either a pass or a fail. And if they read it and your lesson is really bad, or it wasn't 1,000 words, or it just was really weak, then guess what? You're going to get a fail. And you could go through all of this process to be a CMECP and fail at the last stage. And it is what it is. So can you do it over again? No. You'd have to go back to the very beginning and do the whole program over again. So essays, Swartzy says, ugh, not an essay. Yeah, so typically a normal essay for a lesson version would be an introduction, the body of the lesson, okay, and then a conclusion or an analysis. So if I was writing a lesson on the code, and I do this all the time, I'm going to give you an introduction to the code, then I'm going to teach you the lesson, and then I'm going to do the conclusion. And in the conclusion, I'm going to do my analysis of that lesson and say, as a result of this code rule, this is what it's going to be, that type of thing. So more than enough to get your 1,000 words. It's going to take you time to do it, right? So now, why did we go to that? Not just wanted to remove me from the equation. Another reason was because it really was a timing issue to try to get 5 other review board members from all over the country together at the same time. So a CMECP candidate worked very hard to finish in 6 months. But in some cases, it was taking a month or 2 months to coordinate enough time for everybody to get together and do a meeting. And then the candidate had to be available. It was tough. And it was tough on the CMECP review board's schedule because they are busy. They got their own businesses, their own lives, some of them are educators, some of them own contracting businesses, things like that. So this was the best way to do it. And it actually ensures that a CMECP understands the subject and that they can convey it, right? We're not trying to turn them into an instructor, but they have to know the topic well enough to convey it in an essay style so that the CMECP review board reads it and gives it a pass or fail, okay? Now, 5 review boards members will read it, and you only have to get a pass from 3 of the 5. Now, I assume that all CMECP candidates will get a 5 for 5, but you have to at least get 3. So no other program in the industry is like the CMECP, okay? I have trademarks on that, okay? On the CMECP and the phrase Certified Master Electrical Code Professional. It is a unique program that really tests you. And you know what? Don't take my word for it. Ask any of our CMECPs that have been through that program. Okay, and you can find them. They'll have the acronym behind their name, CMECP. Okay, go ahead and ask them. You don't have to filter it through me. Ask any of them that have been through that program and see how tough it is. In fact, Jay Grunberg just went through the program. And you can cut Jay no slack, buddy. He took it all the way up to the 6 months to finish it. Okay, it's not that it's too tough. It just means that you have to have good time management in order to be able to finish that type of thing, okay? So anyway, that's the CMECP change. So that's CMECP Corner. We're gonna have other segments on that, and we'll have a CMECP Corner, a leadership lesson. We'll have something on marketing, something on like permitting, things like that. That's all gonna kind of be a lesson within the CMECP Corner moving forward. And in our new studio that's coming in a couple months, we have a whole new set for that. And you're going to see a neat little CMECP neon sign that's going to be hanging in the CMECP corner. It's going to be cool because that's a whole new segment and everything like that. Okay. All right. We're almost on time. I'm running a little over. But lastly, what I want to talk about is the potential for some guests. And I didn't do the open phone lines tonight. Sorry about that. We just ran out of time. In the future, I will have those lines open. But what we want to do is that I want to reach out to anybody out there who would like to be a guest on the show. All you got to do is contact me at paul.abernathy@fasttracksystem.com. And you know somebody you want to be a speaker, your company, there's a certain topic that you want to talk about, and I'd love to have you on the show. So just reach out and let us know. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay sponsorship or anything like that to be on the show. But we'd love to have you as a special guest. Maybe you have a specialty in a certain area of the industry and you want to be on a show. Maybe you're a PV guru, or maybe you're somewhere in other industry and you want to share that with everybody else. Look, talking about yourself, talking about your industry does not make you conceited. It doesn't at all. What it does is it means that you're open, you're able to talk about it and convey a message, and you want to share it with other people, and that's what I'm all about. Okay? So hopefully that's something that we can have in the future. If you want to find out where you go now, folks, to get on our chat, it's fasttrackschat.com. Okay? If you want to know how to get to the Sparky Hub, there it is right there, www.thesparkyhub.com. And if you're interested in our Fast Tracks program, any of our programs, it's right there, fasttracksystem.com. Now, before I go, I do want to be fair and answer any additional questions that we have here. So I'm going to go down the list here and see what we have. And I'll put it on the screen. And while I'm doing this real quick, I will go on and change this here. Okay. It says, hi there. I've been waiting for you to be live. I'm about to attempt to get an apprenticeship through IBEW. Well, congratulations. IBEW is a great program. Again, you'll have people talk about unions and non-unions, and maybe we'll talk about that on an upcoming show. Or maybe there's a guest. If you know somebody that's in IBEW or is in a union, love to have them on a show. Do me a favor, give them a shout out. Talk them into coming to the show. We'd love it. Maybe you know somebody in the IBEW organization. We'd love to have them on an upcoming show and let them tell us about IBEW. Let them tell us about an apprenticeship program. We'd love to have them on the show. Okay, but congratulations and good luck in your program. I'm here if you need me. Again, there's many ways that you can reach out to me. Let's see here. We're going to end in some of these questions again because it's fair that I want to make sure I answer your questions here. It says, I just want to say that thanks to you, to your VOS. I was able to pass the electrical contractor exam. Thanks for all your help. Well, congratulations. Again, glad my videos could help you and help you achieve that success. I love to live vicariously through my students or people that have learned from my videos. Now, I don't do as many public videos as I used to. And once the new studio opens, you're going to see a bunch of videos flood out immediately. That's because I'm not releasing anything until the new studio. But we're going to be pumping them out there. So most all of them are going to be over on the Fast Tracks tube, though. They're not going to be on YouTube. Okay. Let's see. What did Schwartzy say here? He said, backed off a little from the chat tonight. It's okay, Schwartzy. What did he say here? Oh, essay. Does an essay scare you in the CMECP program? I doubt anything scares you, Schwartzy. Again, Schwartzy comes for our Wednesday night sessions religiously. And you know what? Love seeing him there. And so we always appreciate him coming to the program. All right. All right, folks. Well, hey, I'm a little over tonight. Tried to stay. There's a lot of information came up in that topic. Make sure you join me every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. I got something great lined up for next week. This was the inaugural show, and I just wanted to give you an idea of how the format's going to go. And we're going to be doing introductions. We're going to be industry news. We're going to be talking about product spotlights. If you know a neat product, okay, we will also be introducing a code violation segment. That's coming up as well in the future. So again, a lot of stuff to cram into these episodes. So hopefully you'll join us, folks. I appreciate you all. Thanks for joining me. And again, it's because of you that I am able to do what I can do to help this industry. Again, it takes a bunch of us to build this industry, and I love giving back to the industry. Thanks all of you for all of you do as well. You're the backbone of this industry. Till next time, folks, stay safe. God bless.